Hello and welcome to the Coddiwomples and Coffee Knitting Podcast. It has been a while. It has been a minute. Welcome to any new viewers and for returning viewers. Yeah, it is. So it's been since I think mid-October. Sorry, one of the cats is running around and having opinions. I got sick at the end of October, and so I sounded like death. It was awful. There's no way I was gonna record. And then that just didn't go away. I got a little bit better and was like, okay, like by the time I felt better enough to like record, it was like kind of like the mid-November one, so I was like, well, I'll just do that. And then we had a cold snap, and the stress just like plunged me back down into the sickness. I had a sinus infection. I was sick for like a month and a half. And then there was the holiday stress, and then the new year started, and there was the starting a new quarter with school chaos. And so it's lots has been happening. There's been lots of knitting. There's been lots of life things, but I just haven't had it in me to record. I tried recording one in like the little gap between sounding like death and getting like sicker again. I had like a little window where I felt kind of okay, and I was like, I'll record. And if you know anything about politics and the world, it was the U.S. The cats are being very silly right now. Sorry. It was the U.S. election period, and I tried to record, and I just felt like I didn't even watch it back. I didn't even try to edit it. I was a little bit manic the entirety of that episode, and I was like, maybe this is not the best time for me to be recording. Maybe I just need to give myself a little bit of break. I'll do that one at the end of November. And then I was a snot fountain with sinus problems at the end of November. So it's probably more than you needed to know. But yeah, it's been good. There's been lots of good things going on, lots of good family time, lots of good friend time. It's just been busy and chaotic. So I'm finally back. Hello. Yeah. If I seem a little frazzled today, I am. I went to make lunch and discovered that my fridge wasn't working. The lights were on, but none of the cooling things were working. And so we're seeing if we can get a motherboard replacement so we can just replace that, or if we have to completely replace the fridge. Not what you want to be doing, it's Sunday the 2nd for me right now. I'll be posting this on Monday, so, but not what you want to be doing in the middle of your Sunday. I was gonna make lunch and record a podcast and have a nice quiet day, and that's not what happened. Thankfully I live in Alaska, and we have long-term been subsistence type people, so we have like backup freezers full of like frozen fish and game, and we have a backup fridge, and so like we were able, like we're not in dire straits. We've got coolers, we've got like, it's all okay. It was a great chance to clean out old things from the fridge and freezer and to wash the whole thing. But it's later than I wanted it to be. The light is already going, and so if it's a little bit dark, I'm sorry, but my brother and I had to clean out everything in our fridge. So if I'm a little frazzled, that's what's going on. So it's also, if you notice any bumps, I'm far enough away from the camera, I don't think it's too noticeable, but if my face looks a little red, if I have a little bump, we've been having really crazy weather. It's been like freezing cold and then 30 degrees plus and raining. And I have really sensitive skin, and it does not adjust well to those weather snaps. And then I work with a teen program at my job, and we've been taking the kids ice skating when it's cold enough. So then I'm standing outside in like -5 degrees Fahrenheit with like nothing covering my face, because if my face is covered, my glasses get fogged. And so I've just been repeatedly like freezing my face. It's been a time. It's good. It's all good. It's so fun for the kids, and but I didn't realize the first time that we did it, my skin was gonna have the reaction it did. So I've been having the fallout of that, the joys of sensitive skin. Yeah, it's also, I'm just noticing in the mirror, my little flyaways, not in the mirror. This is not a mirror. I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to you all in the camera. That's the word I want. I noticed in the camera, my little flyaways. It's baby hair season. Yes, let's get to the good stuff. Let's stop rambling and get to the good stuff. My name is Mackenzie. I'm CoddiWomples and Coffee, for those who are new, on YouTube and Instagram. I also am CoddiwompleKnits on Ravelry, and at the end of everything, I will have more to talk about what's going on with CoddiwompleKnits. But let's get into the goodies. We're gonna start with acquisitions because that's how I've piled up my things today, is acquisitions, then finished objects and wipes, because I forgot that I had acquisitions, and then I had to clean stuff to get it out of the way for the fridge stuff to go on the counters as we were kind of moving things, and I was like, oh, I do have things to share. So first up is Kelly Menzies, River and Cades, has a Discord. I'm a member on that Discord. And for Christmas, we had during our kind of like Christmas party, knit and natter meeting night, we did a quiz. I was one of the winners on the quiz, so I got some lovely goodies like that. So let's see. I've got Horace, little hedgehog. I love him. And I got a set of labels that say handmade. Can we get it? Can you see it? Yeah, my hand just up in your face. Say handmade. There's the black one. There's also a really pretty tan and a white one. So those are very fun. I'm not 100% certain that I'll use those. My brother liked them a lot, so he does knit. Again, sensitive skin, the back of my neck is very sensitive, and so Annie tags at all kind of drive me crazy, so I probably won't use those on sweaters, but I don't know, I can use them on a hat, I guess, or a scarf. The cats. We had to put the cats up in a room while we were cleaning out the fridge because they were just way too attempting to be involved in the process, and so now they're a little bit bouncy everywhere. So I also won this beautiful skein of Stylecraft. It's shade 3233 Skip. Isn't that pretty? And it's such a fun little, my mom saw this and she was like, oh, I love that. And I'm like, well, it's sock yarn, and I can usually get, if I do, because neither of us like super tall socks, I can usually get 2 pairs of socks, vanilla socks, if I do contrast heel toe and cuff for her and myself. So I'm like, well, that's good to know. I'm like, I'll make sure to try and get you a pair as well. I also am a member of Kelly's Patreon. Depends on how you say it, I guess. And I think it's the top 2 tiers. It might be all the tiers. I don't know. I'm the 2nd tier, so I don't always remember what the different levels are. I just remember what I'm eligible for. Anyways, she does a spin the wheel thing once a month for a free stitch marker for one of her patrons. Words. And I also won that for January, I believe. So I got to pick a stitch marker, the ones that Kelly made, and so I went with the Christmas tree. I was so excited because obviously I live in Alaska, Kelly's in the UK, so buying shipping is a little bit spendy, and so I wasn't going to shop her Christmas update. I didn't shop her Christmas update because I shopped her Halloween one, and I kind of like just like wait until there's been a couple of releases of new stitch markers, and then I buy all the ones I've been looking at. So I was super excited because I really wanted one of these Christmas trees, but I wasn't going to pay for the shipping just for Christmas tree. So I was like, yes, perfect. So exciting. Next acquisitions. These are things I did actually acquire. I've got Woolberry Fiber Company. This is Cherry Almond Klingla, and it's Berry Cozy DK. So it is a sock yarn. It's 75% merino, 25% nylon. You can kind of, let me see if I can get it. You can see maybe some of the darker speckling. This is the worst light to try and show things with the darker speckling because it just looks like shadows in the yarn. So I got this. This is part of Woolberry's book club this year. Yeah, it's like the cozy book box something. I got it because they were doing the sock yarn and I was super excited. I'm like, cool, I can have like DK socks, which I love. They're one of my favorite types of socks, but it's hard to find the yarn for them. And you get a book and some goodies, and I have the goodies. They're unwrapped, but I didn't want to. It was this I knew because this is like 30 pages into the book. This I knew anyone who got it has seen. The other ones is hit or miss. So also I didn't think about it. It's been a day. It's been a day. Thank you for bearing with me. But it's been a time. I subscribed. You can still buy it, I think, each month. She puts it up for like individual listings. I did a subscription because I was like super excited to have a set of socks, like multiple sets of DK weight socks at the end of the year. I love this color. The book was so not me. It was very cute. It was very cute, very soft and fluffy. I ended up not reading the whole thing. I gave it to my mom because she likes cute Christmas romances. Not Hallmark, she hates Hallmark, but she likes those cute kind of fluffy Christmas romances, and I usually do too. And the writing was really great. I don't even remember what the book was. It's like a time traveling, there's like a Yule Mart that they just like reset to every Christmas, and so they live these like super long lives because they're just like living Yule over and over and over again, and like anyone who establishes a personal connection with someone who's in the Yule Mart can remember the Yule Mart, and it's this whole thing. It was an interesting premise, and it was well written, and I will look up which book it was, and if I can remember. I don't think I wrote it down anywhere. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to my mom. It was very well written. My mom was like, I don't want another one of those. She said it was very well written. She said like the premise was interesting. She was like, but I just wasn't interested in the story. So it was a little bit too cute for me. If you like cute romance novels, it would have been perfect. It was a little bit too cute for me. I'm kind of hoping we get more of a mystery thing, I think is what Bethany hinted at for the February box. I'm really hoping so. But I might end up canceling my subscription if the books are not up my alley. I told my brother, I was like, I think I like a little more death in what I'm reading. I don't know what this is about me. I also got, during their Christmas shop update, a mini DK, Berry Cozy DK mini skein packet, because I knew I was going to have some skeins of DK weight for socks, and I love a contrast heel toe. So I was like, perfect. I'll get a little Christmas one, and I'll have some really cute Christmas socks, and I'm going to be pairing these two together, I think, to make myself a pair of Christmas socks, and I'll be very cozy. Also, final acquisition, Skein and the Stitches Diner collection. So I was kind of on the fence if I was going to actually order from this, because again, shipping, etc., UK to the US, it can get spendy. And I was showing my mom it, and she said these two colors would be so pretty together in like a two-toned shawl or scarf or something. And the colors are Diner Coffee and Strawberry Shake. And I was like, wouldn't they be pretty? I have an Italian summer scarf that I've made. It's kind of like a Sophie shawl. And I did one color to the midpoint and another color to the end with a club box that I got from Passing Out Fibers for a Court of Mist and Fury for her book club last year. And I love it. It's a great scarf. My mom loves that scarf. So I was like, well, I could do that if you wanted to buy the yarn. She was like, yes, absolutely. I'd want that. The reason for these colors is my grandpa passed away in 2020. And he was, he's my dad's dad. But my mom's family sucks. And so he was very much like dad for her as well. She always calls, since like the beginning of the relationship, has called my dad's parents mom and dad. Like there's a lot of love there. And my grandpa absolutely loved a Strawberry Shake, absolutely loved Diner Coffee. He loved the like diner mugs. I can't see one without thinking of him. And so she was like, not only are they really pretty together, she's like, they'll make me think of dad. And so we've got that to make her an Italian summer scarf. Should be good. And I got a skein of Diner Coffee and plush sock. I don't know if I'll go single skein shawl or if I will go socks with it, but I wanted something that made me think of my grandpa. So, yeah, a little nice thing to end that section on. Finished objects. I have two. I'm not going to, since it's been so long, I'm not gonna drag out everything that I finished since October to now, because that would be a lot. That would be a lot, and I'm not gonna drag out all the whips. I'm just gonna show you the two most recent finished objects I have for January, and oh, I have one more acquisition. It fell between things. This really pretty Knit Pro Symphony Viva. It's a DK weight. What is that? 100% superwash merino. Yeah, I just got this the other day. I have a pair of fingerless mittens that I wear sometimes at work because it gets cold in the library. It's a running joke. Our librarian gets too hot all the time. Like she'll be wandering around in a tank top, and the assistant librarian and myself both get cold. So we'll be like piling layers on, and the librarian's like, I want to open a window. I'm too hot. And we're like, that's fine. Just close your office door. Like, don't bring your cold air in here. So I had a pair of fingerless gloves, and she's like, oh, those are beautiful. She's like, I would wear those. She's like, those are really nice. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I really like the pattern. It's the Marilla's Mittens by Amy Sure Makes. You're supposed to use a fluffy yarn for it. I didn't, because I knew I was going to be wearing them inside. Same thing with these. And I was like, would you want a pair of those? Like, would you wear those? And she was just like, yes, Mackenzie, absolutely, I would wear a pair of those. I'm like, perfect. It's because it's a fun pattern to knit. I love knitting them. And I'm like, the always cold gang needs fingerless mittens, because our hands get cold at work, and then you can't type easily, and it's a whole thing. Sorry if you could hear my knuckles popping. So yes, that's the end of the acquisitions. Finished objects, yeah, I'm only going to pull out the whips that I'm like actively working on and trying to kind of limit this. It's already going to be a long episode because it's been so long, but trying to keep it as short as I can. We'll see how that goes. First finished object is the Go-Go Dynamo shawl, and that is, I'm so excited that it's done. I can wear it. Got a cat who's used to me pulling it out and having ends on it running up underneath of me, trying to find the strings. Yeah, so this was the Stephen West MCal for 2024. I got, the construction is kind of interesting. If you've seen it, you know. You start with these semicircles and then you pick up an in and you knit this, and you come back to the top and pick up along this line and knit the top part. So I had finished all of this. I just hadn't woven in my edges for my triangles, all my ends. And since they are 4 colors, not 2, I was not carrying the yarn because it makes the I-cord really bulky. I tried it somewhere in here and I did not like the results. So all of the triangles, for every single triangle, I had 2 ends to weave in. It was a process. And I realized that I just was like losing I didn't have my knitting mojo. I was feeling a little bit out of it. And I was kind of trying to figure out like what the mental block was. And it was this. I wanted this done. I wanted this done. I wanted to be able to wear it. And I didn't want to pick up to finish the top part until I'd woven these ends in, because I thought if I finished it, I was never going to weave in all of these ends. So I just sat down with my brother in a movie a couple weeks ago and just wove them all in. I finally got to the point where I was like, yes, no, I wanna finish that. Got the ends woven in, and then it went really quickly. I think it took me 3 days around everything else I've got going on to knit the final, these middle 3 pieces. Like it went so fast. I was like, that's what I was waiting for. So yeah, and then I was fairly certain I didn't want to do, there's an optional wavy border. There's an optional wavy border that you can do. I didn't want to do that. It's so many stitches and I didn't want to pick up the I-cord, and I knew that I would never finish it if I had to do that. So I was really hoping it would be big enough to wrap at least once, because this is how I like to wear shawls like this. And it was pre-blocking, post-blocking. It's gorgeous. I'm in love. Very excited to have that done. Second FO is, oh, and the colors for that are let's see, I'm just watching the light go away. These 3 are from Unexplored Knits and Fibers Solstice box from she didn't do one 2024, 2022. Because it's 2 solstice boxes ago. Oh, she did. Maybe she did Wool Gatherer last year. I just didn't get it. Because I didn't ever use my first 2, and I finally have used most of one of them. There's a deep pink that went with it, deep like purpley kind of pink, and I just didn't like how all 4 of them worked together. So I substituted that with Yarnsmith Merino Sock in hint of gray. I don't remember what the colorway number for that is, but I do know it's hint of gray. Okay. The other finished object I have are the Storm Seeker socks by Kelly Menzies. Kelly is doing a she's doing a cozy toe sock knit along this year, and I think next year as well, because she had 12 patterns that she wanted to do it with, and we decided collectively on Instagram and Discord to do 2 months per pair of socks, so that everyone, like if you're a bit of a slower knitter or you have like life things happening, you're not going to be super stressed to try and get it done in a month. So this one is running till the end of February. I've been meaning to make these for ages, and so I was like, perfect, great excuse to cast on a new pair of cozy socks. And I used Giddy Yarns Candy Castle. I have it written down. Yes, Candy Castle and Sparkle Sock. It's 75% merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. Let's see if you can you see the sparkles? It's gonna focus. Not see the sparkles. So don't you see the cat hair that's all over it? I haven't even worn them. You can kind of see the sparkles, maybe. but it's sparkly. They're very pretty. And I'd been saving this. I won this from the spring shawl-a-thon that Franny Do Makes ran with someone else whose name I'm blanking. I'm sorry. Last spring, I was one of the Instagram winners, and I got this, and I kind of just been holding on to it, waiting till like inspiration to strike. And I was cleaning up my yarn supply and my yarn stash, in like November. I'm kind of tucking some ones that I knew I wasn't gonna be knitting with right away back up in my totes, because my totes live in my garage up like high on the wall. I have to get on the ladder to get to them. It's great. So I have a smaller tote in the main part of my house that's like the stuff that I know is upcoming projects I know I want to be working on. And so I tucked this in that because I was like, you know what? January is a little bit sometimes of a craptastic month. Sometimes a little bit too cold. Sometimes it's a little bit gloomy. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna want something bright and fun to work on. And so that's what I did. I love how it spiraled very differently on the two socks. Like, with the nice little delicate lines. This is Lanjan. She has opinions. About everything. But yeah, I like how it did the thin spirals on one and like that like big blaze of color on the other. It's just fun seeing how that works. I did the 72 stitch cast on. They're a little bit looser than I normally wear my socks. I was a little bit worried about the size smaller being too tight. So they're a little bit looser than I usually like my socks, but they still fit really well and I love them. I also only did 3 pattern repeats before the heel, so they're a little bit shorter than the pattern has them, but that's the beauty of personalizable patterns, in my opinion. So yeah, so those are my finished objects. That's what we got. That's what we got. And now whips. So also in Kelly's Patreon, she does Crack the Whip make along. Kind of quarterly. It was supposed to be in January, but all of us kind of forgot about it. And she was like, do we want to do it in January or do we want to do it in February? We voted February. We're like, let's push that back a little bit. So that's what's going on this month. So I'm just showing you the whips I have for that. I don't need it. Got a project bag. I don't need them. It's just the whips that I'm trying to finish this month. That's what I'm going to be sharing today. First up is my, oh god, my sweater. I don't know how I wrapped up. Is what I've just been fondly calling the Giles sweater. It is the pattern I'm using. What's that? And you guys have seen this before. This is where I was the last time I showed it to you. This is how long I've not done a podcast. Alright. Finished the rest of the body and started the sleeve, guys. That's how long it's been. It should hopefully be finished by the next time you see it, but I am also going to move that marker while I'm thinking about it. So it's also a Kelly marker. Just going to advertise for your friends, guys. Look at that. You want a tiny mushroom seed bead marker? Kelly Menzies. She'll hook you up. If you buy it, obviously. Money must change hands. They don't just grow on trees. She has to make them. Also, tiny ghosts. Come on. I mean, like, look at that. That's so cute. It's so cute. It's free Kelly advertising. So this is the Boyfriend Sleepover by Kevin Haggerty. And I'm going to put links to everything in the bottom. Links to everything down below. Has no ends woven in, as you can see. So it's designed as a vest. I liked the style of it, so I just am popping on straight sleeves. I just picked up, I think, like 90 stitches, and I'm just knitting it straight, and then I'll decrease right before the cuff and have a sweater. Yeah, not much to say about it. I like it. I did the neckline before doing the sleeves because I wanted to see how it fit, because I was like, well, maybe I will like it as a vest. Maybe I want it as a vest. Maybe I'd prefer that. And I tried it on and I'm like, oh, it looks good as a vest. I will never wear it as a vest. It's not my style. There are some knit vest styles I do like. I think that I like this one, but because it's DK, but it was designed with like 2 lace weights held together at the DK gauge. And well, first of all, I did not get proper gauge on this, but I liked the fabric that my swatch was. So I just did the math to figure out what size I needed to knit to get the size I wanted with the gauge I had. So the fabric might be a little bit denser than it's supposed to be in the pattern. I don't know, because I'm not knitting it correctly. I'm knitting it how I want to. I'm also being attacked by Surrey threads. So, anywho, so I'm calling it the Giles sweater because the yarn I'm using, you can see, is the Watcher by Scan the Stitch. Wow, total brain freeze. Let's just, I can just, you see, it's very staticky here today. Can you tell? Alaska, well, at least my pocket of Alaska is a very dry part of the world. I'm gonna wrap that up so I stop getting distracted by the staticky. So it is fingering weight and a Surrey held together. I don't have the ball bands on me currently, and I can't remember what they are. I'm not 100% certain that they're still the exact same bases that she uses anymore, because these are from Jess's Buffy collection, which is from a bit ago. Oh, one of the balls started rolling. Okay, we're good. It's all good. Oh, good. I'm here. I'm present. How are you all? Yes. So, I hope you guys are good. Sweater ball. So, it is the Watcher from Jess's Buffy collection a couple of falls ago. I think 2022, maybe, that fall. It was one year that I was like, I'm not buying any more yarn, and then Jess released the Buffy collection, and I was like, if she does a Giles colorway, I'm screwed. And of course, she not only does a Giles colorway, but does it green, which is one of my favorite colors in the whole world. And obviously, I did not hold to the not buying yarn thing. So, but I adore Giles. He's one of my favorite characters. And yeah. The Giles sweater. It's coming along well. I should definitely be able to finish it this month. I'm excited about that. Excited to wear it. Don't have much else to say about it. Next whip is also a garment. This one has been here for a while. I was looking at when it was cast on and it was 2023. It's for my mom, so I really need to get it going, get it boot scooting. It is Explore Knits and Fibers, Denali Sock, Peaches and Cream. It's from the Ice Cream Social collection. I want to say 2021, 2022. I don't know. I remember sitting in the airport in Seattle buying the yarn. Coming home from seeing Stray Kids with my best friend. So, whenever Stray Kids was last in Seattle. That's when it's from. So, why do I have it marked? You guys saw it last. I do. There you go. That's my progress on it. It is stockinette in the body, and I think I had hit a point where I was just knitting so much fingering weight yarn. I just got sick of it, and it takes a while to get around, to go around, and I was just tired, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But the sleeves are pretty minimal. I've got this much yarn in my current ball, and so I'm like, well, when I get to the end of that and I'm needing to weave in the next one, I'm gonna just pause, pick up and do the sleeves really quick so the sleeves are done, and then I just have to do the body. And it's not the full length torso. My mom has a little bit of a shorter torso than I do, so it's not gonna be like the full length that Kelly has in the pattern. It is a little bit shorter, but she's been able to try it on and she was super happy with it. So I really want to get it done for her because it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful pattern. It's again Moonglade by Kelly Menzies, Ravelry Caves. Just gorgeous. And my mom is very excited to wear it. So I would like for her to have it because she has a sweater that I've made, but it was not made. It was one that I made with a test knit for somebody, and I wasn't 100% certain if I was going to love how it fit me, so I made it in colors that I knew she would like too, and then I didn't like how it fit me, but it fit her beautifully. It's so cute on her. And so she has a made by me garment. She doesn't have a made for her by me garment, and that's what I'm trying to get finished for her. Then I have got 2 different socks. That's which one's this. Okay. The Scott Calvin socks by Katie Harrod of Songbird Handmade. The socks that I was like, I'm gonna knit these in November and I'm gonna have them for Christmas. Didn't happen. Other things going on, life stuff happening, and I just didn't feel like I was not in a color work mood. I've got a couple of color work things I need to do, and I just haven't been in the mood, and I'm finally like no, I could use a little bit of color work. I could palette cleanser, color work. So it's super cute. It's from her Christmas sock sets. I did the test knit, so that one's this. So I will be finishing the second one of that hopefully this month. I'm very excited about it. It is, what colors did I use? This is Explore Knits and Fibers. It's their cashmere sock base, cashmere caverns, cashmere sock, whatever. It's an oopsie skein I bought during the Leave No Trace thing that they do. The best I can guess is it's probably, if you're wanting something similar, I would get a skein of woolly. I think that's what it's an oopsie of. I've made a sweater with woolly, and that's definitely I think what it's an oopsie of. Purple is a one-off skein, a mini skein from, used to be Yarn Addict Co. Now it's Little Fiber Company, I think, Little Fiber Co. And the dark green is Yarn Smith's Merino sock in the colorway Bottle. Yeah, so excited to get the next sock done on those. I did not leave the needles in the bag, so that's fun. I'll have to figure out what those are again. And I have another sock that I don't even have the ends woven in on. So fun. This is my Halloween sock. I did not finish them in time for Halloween, in case anyone was wondering. I finished my mom's in time for Halloween. Did not finish mine. But I did a shadow wrap heel on these, German short row. I think shadow wrap. It's been a bit. Be fun remembering that. And a wedge toe. I think. I'm pretty sure it's a wedge toe. tell people that I design socks or started designing socks. I've designed a pair. I'm designing a second pair. Still in great faith in all of you right now, I'm sure. Yeah, the colors, it is Yarnsmith's Merino sock again. The variegated one, stripy sock, is the colorway Boo with an exclamation point, and then it's the black. I don't know if it has a clever name, but it's black yarn. I don't have the ball band, but it's black. So those, and I know those I knit on a 1.5, which I have to track down somewhere in my house. Which I normally knit my vanilla socks on 1.5s because they just knit up a little bit faster, and it's not a huge difference on, like, I think how the sock, I want to say shoe, how the sock feels. So, and then it's easy to remember what needle I need anytime I forget and come back to my no pattern vanilla socks, because I know that I'm knitting them on a 1.5. I think it's 1.5. It's US 1.5. I don't know what the millimeters are. I think I actually have the needles right here. Or is it US millimeters 1.5? Yeah, so US 1 is 2.25 millimeter. I don't know. I have no answers. Then, second I have to unweave how I hate when my D-pans go everywhere. I don't have needle stoppers necessarily for them, so I just wrap the yarn around it in this convoluted manner. I'm knitting the Carling Fingerless Mittens by Sarah Murley. This is how I look knitting with D-pans. The colorway I've got on those, I'm only through the hand mostly. So the colorway I've got on those is Dragon Horde Fiber Company's Favorite Darling. She had a couple skeins of it, and I saw it and I was like, ooh, I want a skein of that. And I thought mittens would be the nicest. You're supposed to knit a thumb. I don't think I am going to, because of how that fits. I kind of just like how that is. And she has it, you can knit them as long as you want. So I divided the yarn up into 2 separate balls so that I just have 1 ball of yarn per mitten, so I can just knit them as long, and that's part of the other nice thing about not doing anything with a thumb, is I can just knit this as long as I want. Yeah, it's pretty. There's I have partridge kind of texture on the palm. You can kind of see, and that's what kind of pulls it. So there's no, this is all knit just in the round, cast on. But because of how this condenses it, it gives you a nice squishy palm. It also pulls it, so it covers the back of your hand more than the front of your palm, without needing to do like decreases, increases, or anything like that. So it's been nice. They're a nice one to pick up. I think they were one of my first cast-ons of the year. They've just been nice to kind of pick up when I want something a little bit easy, a little bit squishy. Fun time for all. So those are my 3 small things for it. So I've got the 2 garments. The 2 garments, 2 socks, and the mitts. I also have a pair of slippers that I was like, oh, maybe, but it involves thrumming, and I'm not great at, well, I'm not terrible at thrumming. I make my thumbs too big. Realized that afterwards, not to make my second one with the thrums also too big, and so I've been reluctant because it's quite tight knitting it. But we'll see. If you see him later this month, you'll know that I went on to it. Final whip I'm working on is a crochet whip. This is the Fiona Baby Blanket by Owl Be Hooked. Owl is in the bird. And they don't have heads yet, obviously. It is flamingos. How fun is that? It's a nice pattern. It's very easy to read. I'm pretty much a noob, very beginner with crochet. It's all double crochet stitch, and then just like with the chain one, skip a stitch to create the little holes. So you got the little kissing flamingos. So modifications I made. The pattern is originally just 2 repeats. I did 3 because I'm not making it for a baby. I'm making it for a friend. She has no idea. She doesn't watch this, so it's fine. She has no clue I'm making this. She's the friend who helps a lot with, who's helped a lot with watching my dog when I've had some emergencies and had to leave state. And my brother works 10-hour days, so the dog was a like 9-month-old puppy when this happened. I had a friend who needed me, and so he was able to leave the dog with her a lot, and she won't take money. And so I've knit her a hat. I made her a little flamingo. I made her husband asked me for a little mini frog in the sweater. I'm sure you've seen the patterns if you're on Instagram. And so she asked if I can make a flamingo like that, because they sit in their truck. So in the truck, his frog and her flamingo ride. It's very cute. So I was making this for her as kind of like a thank you thing, just as a general, you're awesome, thanks. And now I have a reason to make a baby blanket as well, so I'm playing around with that. We'll see that later. I'm also gonna make her husband a blanket. So I've got 3 crochet blankets. I'm like, 2 years ago I thought I'd never be able to crochet. It's amazing. It's crazy what happens. But yeah, it's a nice pattern. It's very straightforward, very easy to follow. And I think I'm gonna have to do, so the original pattern is like 2 repeats across, and then you repeat that I guess 2 times total. So you do the first and then you repeat it. And so you have this cute little square. And I'm making a lap blanket size, so I'll probably do 3 by 3, so it fits for her lap blanket. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. But I'm picking that up. I don't know that I'll get that finished like with the border and everything this month, but I'm trying to crochet 3 rows a day on it. We'll see how that goes with everything, but it is feasible. Whether or not I will accomplish it is an entirely different matter, but it is feasible. It could happen. We'll see. At the very least, I will make quite a bit of progress on it. So yeah, so those are my whips. Those are what I'm focusing on. Okay. So, final little snippet. Life stuff, updates, some of how I'm changing, how I'm doing things. You will have noticed, if you're a returning viewer, I've not been popping things on the screen necessarily. Part of the not having time to record podcasts was also just not wanting to like in-depth edit things consistently. Like, just I've seen people who do beautifully edited podcasts and they're wonderful. Franny Do Makes, and Kelly with Rowan Kids do wonderful ones. I also really enjoy the like RO Knits and Pearls, and she does like almost no editing. She has a dog now, and occasionally Mabel causes enough chaos that she's had to like edit snippets. But I'm like, the time to add all the little pop-ups and everything like that was just starting to stress me out, and I put it on the screen, and I also put it in the doobly-doo, how to date yourself on the internet, the description box. That's the official title. So I think I'm just going to be putting things in the description box. I might with things like temperature conversions and needle conversions. Or if I've forgotten something and I'm like, I'll pop it up, I will continue to pop those up. But putting up every single designer, every single yarn, it's time consuming, and it just adds a level of stress for me that like it's not as fun to do this, because then I'm sitting here thinking about all the things that I have to do to edit it, and it becomes stressful, and I just, you know, I don't want to do that. I want this to be fun. I want this to be enjoyable. Like, I'm here chatting with you guys. I'll make sure that the information is available. It will be in the description box. But yeah, I want it to be enjoyable for me, and hopefully it's enjoyable watching it for you. So that's the little tweak that's changing. And then with CoddiwompleKnits, if you looked at my page, I only have the one pair of socks up right now. Just the one page. But in Alaska, a business license is $50. I made less than that in sales, and that doesn't bother me. I'm not pursuing designing because I want it to be a career path for me. For those who don't know, I'm pursuing a master's in library and information science right now. I work in a library. I like librarianship. It's the first like job I've had that I really enjoy. So I'm not looking for knit designing to be a career path. It's just something that I like doing. I have designs I think about, I want to do them, and I figure I might as well take that creativity a little step further and publish them. But then I started realizing that like I'm not looking at doing the garment designs that pop into my head, because I start thinking about the grading, I think about all the work, and I think about the cost, and I think about the time and how much, and like I'm never going to recuperate that money back, and I start anxiety spiraling. I've got a pair of socks that I've been designing for a bit that I really love, and I don't always feel the urge to pick up designing knits. And I have friends who are designers, like Kelly, who are designers as a job, and I think that's so awesome, and I love their designs, but they don't get a lot of time to knit other people's designs. It's very much, they're mostly knitting their own work, and that makes perfect sense, but I don't want to be doing that. And I realized that the time investment for me to like recuperate, at the very least break even with what it costs to have a business license, with what the yarn might cost, it puts a stress space on designing for me that I don't want to be there. This is it's an extension of the creative fun that I find in knitting for me. So the Crown Shy socks on Ravelry are now available for free. 1,000 thank yous to everyone who bought them. That was so fun and so exciting, and it was very thrilling. But I've realized that I like designing as a hobby, not as a career. And because I have another job that's my actual job, I have the ability to not need to sell the patterns for money. I do understand that this means that sometimes there's not necessarily anything for me to give back if I have test knitters. So I'll understand 100% if people don't really want to test knit, because like I can't offer, another of my patterns for free or this pattern for free, because they're all going to be free. I might try to figure out other incentives. for people. If I'm having issues finding test knitters, I might try to figure out something else as a fun little like thing. I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. But I just realized I just hit the point where I was like, I'm not wanting to work on knits that I'm designing because I'm thinking about all of the pressure to do everything a certain way so that they sell, and I don't like advertising. I'm not there's is to be my patterns are selling kind of person. There's just a level of effort into it that, as someone who has a different job and is looking towards moving into, because I work part-time right now, but I graduate with my master's this year. I will be looking for a more permanent position this year as well. Designing knits for money adds a stress, and I have chronic pain in my neck and shoulders because I get so stressed. I tense everything up with my anxiety and everything else that I have going on, that like I'm just kind of always in pain to varying degrees, but usually like my back and neck are tight and sore right now. And so I've spent a lot of the last year trying to figure out how to reduce the stress in my life. And I've just realized that designing knitwear for money is a stress space, because it starts the anxiety spiral of like, well, how can I make enough to recover for this, to be worth what I'm designing, to like meet those needs? And you just have to churn out patterns at a rate that I cannot balance designing for money and my own mental health. It's just not a space that's feasible for me, especially right now. So I'll be designing, but the patterns will be for free, and I'll set up like a Ko-Fi or something if people want to donate, and patterns that I've designed with certain nonprofit kind of spaces in mind. I'll set up a link to those nonprofits if people want to donate directly to them. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Those are the changes for CoddiwompleKnits coming up this year. Last couple quarters of grad school, which is wild. It's so close to being done. Changes to the designing space, changes to the podcast space. So hopefully they're all good changes. They're positive changes. People enjoy it. I will continue to, test out my patterns. I will pay for garment patterns to be tech edited. But this just takes a little bit of that pressure off of me, because they're garments and socks and things that I want to wear, and I'm just taking the time to figure out how to make it so other people can wear them as well. And like, it's a long-standing issue that the cost output and effort output into designing and the money you get back for it, it's unequivocal. Unequal, not unequivocal. Unequal. And people make livings doing it because they do it really well. Again, Kelly makes a living with it. Amy Sher makes a living with it. But I've heard both of those designers also say that they don't really have time to knit other people's patterns, and I just started kind of weighing that space and decided to do what's best for me. So, in no way trying to devalue the work of knitting and how important it is for designers to be paid adequately for that work that they're putting out into the world. Like, I'm not saying that my patterns are going to be free because they should be. They shouldn't be. They are a lot of work. But the work output and the stress of everything that I would have to do to make them profitable is a mitigating factor for me personally. And I just need to respect that mental health space for myself. So, yeah. I'm happy about it, I think. I'm also very stressed this time of year. So, it's a good plan, I think. If this later changes and I decide to publish patterns for money again, it'll be newer patterns, any patterns that I publish during the I feel like it should be free space, I will keep free. But yeah, I think that's all I have. It continues to be bitterly cold in Alaska. I have to go wash out a fridge now, I think. Super excited about that. But I would have washed it before doing the podcast, but the light is and has been going the entirety of this. So I didn't want to be filming this in the dark. So I switched some priorities around. So now I get to go wash a fridge. That's gonna be my evening. I will have time for knitting and book reading afterwards. I've been reading Onyx Storm. Book updates. If you're not interested in books, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. If you're interested in books, I've been rereading Fourth Wing. I finished Iron Flame earlier this week. I'm reading Onyx Storm right now. Very slowly. I had a migraine yesterday, so I wasn't able to read any. And I was kind of like I've been flipping back and forth. I've been doing a Court of Thorns and Roses reread as well. So I've been flipping between a different book, ACOTAR book, something else, ACOTAR book. So I'm on A Court of Wings and Ruin right now, and I picked it up. I wasn't gonna pick it up until after I finished Iron Flame, but I hit a point in Iron Flame where I was just like, I knew someone that I kind of liked. There was just like a death that was a bummer, and I was like, I don't wanna. To me, it was a bummer to me. I don't know how anybody else feels about it. It was a very minor character, but it just always makes me sad. So I was like, no, I don't want to read it right now. So I started Rings of Ruin, and then my best friend, one of my best friends is reading them all as well. She'd never read Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, but her book club is reading Onyx Storm. So in January, she was like, okay, I've got to get the other two read. So she finished everything up, and she started Onyx Storm, and she's like, hey, when are you going to start Onyx Storm? Because I need someone to scream at. She's like, for once, I am the person ahead of everybody else. She's like, and I have no one to holler at about what's happening. So if you could please, no pressure, but the sooner you catch up, the sooner I can holler. And so I was like, okay, I'll try. And then had work stuff, school stuff, and migraine stuff get in the way. So I'm finally in Onyx Storm. I'm trying to get caught up. I should get caught up with her this week. This week. I would for sure get caught up. But yeah, and then I'm gonna go back to Wings of Ruin. I read 5 books in January. My goal, I've got the Goodreads challenge. My goal is 45 books this year, and I try to kind of heavily front load that at the start of my year, because I usually hit a reading slump around August, September. My whole life, I hit an odd little slump pocket during that time of year. No idea why. I've done it since I was a child. I don't know what my hair is doing here. This is what happens when you have curly hair and baby hairs. This is top tier content with Mackenzie. But yeah, so trying to read a lot. I've got a whole stack of books from the library I'm excited to get to, and so that's kind of why I'm alternating Court, Thorns, and Roses, because I read Throne of Glass. I reread Throne of Glass. I reread Throne of Glass at the end of the last year, and then I really wanted to reread ACOTAR because I love that series. It's one of my comfort series now. I'm very fond of it. Sorry, yawning. So rereading ACOTAR, and then I'm gonna reread Crescent City, because just rereading ACOTAR, I'm like, oh, I've actually read it, like Throne of Glass, Thorns and Roses. So I'm gonna reread Crescent City as well, because I enjoyed it, and I like Bryce Quinlan, and yeah. So I've been alternating those with other books, because I have a pile to be read. I wish I could do audiobooks. I really do. It's gonna make my life so much easier with trying to keep up on everything that I want to read and knit at the same time. But my brain just starts drifting. It's great. I just like check out and I start thinking about other things. And I'm like, oh wait, there's a story. They do the same thing with podcasts. So I just have to read. It'll be fine. School's ending, so I will soon just have job knitting reading, not school job knitting reading, because the schooling takes up quite a bit of time. So yeah, I'm over an hour, so not super long, but definitely not a short one. Like I said, it depends on your idea of what super long is for podcasts. I usually am somewhere between 40 minutes and an hour plus. So I will stop rambling now, because I'm just talking to talk at this point. Sleeping cat. She's so cute. She gets very tired sometimes, and you know that she's like heavily sleeping when her head and she just puddles onto your lap. It's the best thing. She lasts like that maybe like a couple minutes before she wakes herself up again. But it's one of the best, like, small cat sleeping on you feelings in the world. It's so good. So good. Alright, I will let all of you lovely people go. For all those who stayed to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. And I will see you in 2 weeks, barring grave illness. Gonna knock on wood for that one really quick. That was not a funny joke to make. Yes, I will see you in 2 weeks. I hope you all have a lovely start to your February and wonderful times crafting. See you all.